Is it possible that you are missing the one single laboratory test that will finally explain why you are tired all the time? And what's worse is that your doctor may have already checked this lab value and told you that it was normal, but your doctor probably didn't test it correctly. So imagine now having had a test done, but the test results are reported over such a wide normal range that it's almost impossible to notice differences between individuals. And what if knowing this single laboratory test could give you deep insight into your foggy thinking and your weight gain and your belly pain and your fatigue and your low libido? I have seen so many patients struggle for years because they either didn't have testing done by their doctors, or as you will learn in this video, their doctors simply didn't measure their cortisol correctly. So by the end of this short video, you are going to understand why this test is so important and why a single morning blood cortisol test just doesn't cut it, and the critical cortisol pattern that explains why you are not feeling great. I'm going to share the story of an actual patient of mine and the steps that we took to get her feeling better. So Sarah was in her mid-40s and she was feeling like crap. She was gaining weight. She had foggy thinking. She found herself forgetting words. Her skin was dry. Her belly was always hurting her. And frankly, she was tired of feeling tired all the time. She'd been to her primary care doctor, and her doctor had done a number of studies, and he told her that all of her blood work was fully normal. Her thyroid was normal, her iron, her lipids, her blood count, they were all normal. He also told her that he had measured her cortisol levels and that it was normal as well. But her doctor had only ordered a single blood morning cortisol level that was done at 8 in the morning. He had told her, "There's nothing wrong with you. Go home." But Sarah knew that something was wrong, and in spite of all the labs that she had done, she was missing something. My name is Scott Resnick. I'm a medical doctor, and I'm making these videos to simplify functional healing and to show you how to regain your energy without drugs using science and systems. So cortisol is one of our most important hormones. In several of my videos, I have gone so far as to say that cortisol is king. It lords over and controls all of the other hormones in our body. It influences our brain, our gut, our hearts, our kidneys, our bones, our immune system. It falls squarely into the energetic foundation of my health systems pyramid, where it works in concert with insulin and thyroid. And there should be no surprise here because insulin and thyroid are also frequently not measured correctly, but I'm going to go over that in a different video. For now, just remember that cortisol is the ringleader of the energetic triad. The most important thing to know when it comes to measuring cortisol is that its level changes over the course of the day. It's known as a diurnal hormone. And in a healthy person, cortisol rises in the early morning and then gradually falls over the rest of the day. A typical serum cortisol test is drawn at 8 in the morning, and this is when Sarah had had her cortisol sampled. But the problem here is that because of this morning rise, the normal range for cortisol in the morning is really broad. This means that you could have a low normal cortisol in the morning and be told by your doctor that all is perfect, but you would have no insight into what was happening with your cortisol later in the day. So now I am showing you the actual 4-part salivary cortisol test that Sarah collected. This allowed us to map out her cortisol pattern over the course of the day. You can see from this graph that she snuck into the normal range in the morning, and this probably corresponded with the low normal serum test that she had done with her doctor. But I have to say, this is a problematic cortisol curve. It shows an ongoing downward trend. So if you've been running your engine hot for a long time, it might be useful to know your own cortisol curve. In functional medicine, I would refer to this pattern as a flattening cortisol curve or hypocortisolism with a downtrending pattern over the course of the day. Now, this graph represents an even more advanced pattern of adrenal stress physiology. Basically, these adrenal glands have been driven so hard that the brain basically said, enough is enough. We are shutting you guys down for a spell so that the body can recover. This is a late stage finding, and it may require a solid year of work before this person can fully normalize their cortisol again. Fixing a flatline cortisol pattern can take a long time. It just does. Now, the best way to know how your own adrenal glands are working is to obtain a 4-part salivary cortisol test. And there are a number of distinct patterns that you can look for, and each of these patterns is covered in the video, which is listed here. But if you really want to know how your daily cortisol levels are relating to your health and your wellness and your longevity, I have opened a limited number of consultations where I can help you to understand your own salivary cortisol test. You can see your own numbers and how these might relate to all aspects of your health. And if that interests you, you can find me in the link below, or just meet me in the next video where I share the 4 most important salivary cortisol patterns that I have seen in my patients. And I'll see you there.